Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our next edition of our book launch training. And I think it's part 7 today that we are working on. We're going to go through the end of the month as we help you all launch your books. Because we have so many of you in our Pacific House, Redemption Press, launching books into the world, and we're excited for that. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about the power of a strategic book launch. And hello, Kathy. Good to see you, or at least to see you in the chat. Kathy is from the West Michigan area. There you go. And it is in the low 30s today. Oof, not fun. Good to have you watching with me today. And I'm going to give you some information that will hopefully help you think about launching your book in a way that maybe is more unique than you had thought of in the past. Then tomorrow, we are going to have a one-on-one with one of our authors to be able to really brainstorm their book launch live. So be watching for that training to come out. And then, of course, it's always available for you to click on both on the YouTube platform as well as in our course platform. And then we will be using this information for our coaching time as well as we brainstorm your books. So let's really talk about our book launch. So launching a book is more than just making it available for purchase. It's about really creating meaningful connections. We want to build a lasting impact. And we want to make sure, one of the things we talk about all the time, making sure that our book is reaching the right audience. So whether you are doing a devotional, a faith-based book, a children's story, whatever it is, having a well-launched strategy or having a well-planned launch strategy maximizes your influence. So a successful book isn't just about sales. It's about positioning your book so it can serve, so it can inspire and transform lives. So there are 3 key components we're going to look at today. And that is number 1, community partnership. Number 2, strategic offerings. And number 3, impactful events. So those 3 are essential to this process. And we want to do this because our book launch isn't just once we launch it, we're done and our book just sells itself. No, our book is not going to sell itself. So we have to continue these relationships in order to give our book longevity in the marketplace. So the first thing we'll talk about is community partnerships. And I did teach on that last week and gave you a bunch of ideas as to how to choose the right partner for you and how to really interact with them and some of the things that you can offer them. So many authors really try to market their book to everyone, and that does not work. The most effective way to build momentum with your book is partnering with established communities that already serve your ideal readers. It just makes sense. We all know that social media isn't going to sell our book. And so we need to really figure out how can we get our book in front of people that are right there in our community. So you can align with churches, ministries, with schools or bookstores or other types of retail locations, any organization that really aligns with your ministry. And when you do that, and when they become your community partner in your launch, you gain instant credibility by being endorsed by these leaders in the community. It will also help you to reach readers who are actively seeking the message, the wisdom and encouragement that your book has for them. And then it creates this ripple effect because when a church or a school or a group embraces your book, it can spread organically, word of mouth. And that is one of the best ways to market your book is other people telling people about it. Number 2, the offerings for the community are for your community partners really offer some type of value. It's not just about giving them a product. It's about giving them and their audience, the people that they are serving, value. Your book is more than just your story. It's a tool that we use for transformation by the Holy Spirit. So we want to encourage groups to really almost like adopt your book so that you're offering more than just the book itself. So we provide, and we've talked about this so many times, providing resources that enhance the value. And so what is it that you're going to give those members in the community in order to bring their people value besides your book? So it could be, you're able to speak and share your story in person with them. You can create things like study guides or challenges, coloring pages if you're doing a kid's book, a children's book, workshops, maybe special discounts for groups, making it easier for churches and schools and ministries to incorporate their book into their programs that already exist. And when you provide them solutions rather than just a book, organizations are more likely going to embrace and promote your work because they see the value that you are bringing them. Number 3, impactful events. So creating an engagement and lasting impression with the people that you are reaching out to. Again, a book launch isn't just about selling copies. It's about creating an experience. We want people to come and be a part of what our book, our message is about, not just in the reading of it, but in the experience that they will have. So this could be a live event, a workshop, story times, even virtual sessions. If you wanted to do it online, that would bring your book to life. And in these events, in these times when you come together, they foster deeper connections with your reader. So through readings and discussions and interactive experiences, people move simply beyond reading your words to experiencing them. And then it creates 3 things for us as the author. First of all, it creates a personal connection between me, the author, and them, the audience. 2, it creates memorable moments that will inspire people to share the book with others because of what they've received from it. And number 3 are opportunities for media and just word of mouth, amplifying our book's reach. So why do these 3 things matter? They matter because when an author launches with intentional partnerships, with really great, valuable resources, and with an engaging experience or event, they create a momentum that is way beyond the initial release of the book. Books don't sell themselves, but relationships, impact, and strategic engagement will help to sell your book. So when you follow that 3-step approach, your book isn't just going to be released. Anyone can release a book, but your book is going to become rooted in the communities where you live. It's going to be embraced by the readers and the right readers, and it's going to be positioned to really make a lasting change. So let's explore how our books could be released. And I have a couple books that we have coming out, and I kind of brainstormed with my own brain, I guess, these books using these 3 different areas. And I'm going to share with you, and I'm actually only going to share one because otherwise we would be here all day. So I'm going to share the first one that I did, and that is the book launch plan for God, I'm Broken by Anne Griffiths. Her book is going to be released. It's actually, I think, sent to the printer and getting ready to be printed and then shipped. So it will be released sometime this year. And as I was thinking through her book, we have to think through what the book is about and who the best audience is. And Anne worked extensively to discover her audience member. Her book is basically a devotional that walks the reader through the journey that she went through with her best friend as she went into hospice and passed into the hands of Jesus, and then Anne's journey after that, and really helping a reader walk through grief. Grief doesn't just happen when it's our spouse. It happens anytime we have a loss, and her book will help the reader who is experiencing loss of a person that they love. So hello, Colleen. Good to see you. So the first thing when we think about Anne's book, God, I'm Broken, our community partnerships. So this is who are we going to reach that most benefit from this book? Who can we partner with? Like what types of organizations? What types of organizations support people who are experiencing grief? Perhaps it's also faith community, mental health groups. So who are some potential partners for her? So some of the faith-based organizations she could partner with are churches and even prayer ministries. So pastors, women's ministry leaders, and grief ministries can offer this book as a resource to the people who attend the ministries to their members. Then you could also use Christian counseling centers, because there are a lot of therapists and grief counselors who really work with people who are in the grief process, and they can use their book in their practice. The next one she could do, and I know Anne would be really good at this, is women's retreats and conferences, because she's a good speaker and she's able to bring her message through her words, her spoken words. And so she could go to a group that focuses on healing, loss, faith building. And so she could partner with these specific organizations, based organizations. She could also move the needle out of kind of the Christian realm and move into places like hospice and bereavement support groups, hospice care centers that offer grief support to families and caregivers. I'm sure we've all been impacted by that particular support group, that when we have loved ones who have passed. Grief Share or other grief sharing support groups. She could reach out to community centers and see if they even offer anything, retirement centers, programs that help people through mourning, and they could even use this as part of their encouragement or part of their weekly curriculum. And then funeral homes and places that house memorial services. And many of these funeral homes actually do provide resources for families who are grieving. And then the mental health and community outreach groups. So places like counseling organizations, widow or widowers support groups, and then local libraries and book clubs. So thinking through, like, who would be the ideal person to connect with? And even though I gave a list of a lot of them, as you're thinking of your own book, what is maybe the top 2 or the top 3 that would be a great place for you to reach out? You don't have to reach everyone in the first launch of your book. Just really think through, who's that strategic partner that I could reach out to that may perhaps join me in my launch. Then, as Anne is reaching out to them, what is it that she would offer them? And so some of the things that she could offer to these community partners to provide value to their organizations are things like an exclusive book bundle. Maybe she'll give a discount on bulk pricing for churches or grief groups or counseling centers. Maybe she will create something that is a study material, like a downloadable grief devotional guide or small group questions to accompany the book or accompany the concepts. It's a devotional, but there are scripture, there are truths, there are applications within it. So how could she pull out those and maybe even come up with a short devotional, a 7-day devotional to walk through? A free excerpt or a devotional series, like for 5 days, that you could email to people or offer a PDF, so it would bring that group value. She could volunteer to come in and do virtual or in-person talk, sharing her own personal journey, offering encouragement, maybe doing a Q&A. Maybe she has other people that she knows that has walked through the grief process together. Maybe even bring in a family member of the friend that passed away that she wrote about, and be able to kind of share that grief as a friend and as a family member and walking through the same journey. She could do grief care packages. She could bundle it with a journal, a scripture cards, and the book, and they could be distributed, or she could even offer it on her website as a gift bundle for people to use. There's lots of places that you can get bulk journals. Even Amazon has them, and they're really nice. You can do some nice lettering on them with stickers, or maybe even your Cricut machine, and make them very personalized. And then the third thing that she can do is have an event to benefit both the organization and the author. And so she could go in and either plan the event or perhaps partner with an event that they already have going on. And each event should be designed to really offer that connection and inspiration to the attendees while giving some visibility to her book. So for churches or faith-based community events. She could offer just the ability for her to have an event where she shares her testimony. She leads the conversation on faith during grief, and then have a book signing at the end. Maybe she does a grief reflection service, which would offer maybe a time of prayer, some worship. I know Anna's very musical, so that would be a great way she could enter into that. And maybe a book discussion led by Anne. Maybe she has a few people read it and they do a panel together, or even a small group launch where they could walk through the devotional together in this grief support. And she does that within a community group, a church or faith community event. Then for hospice or bereavement support events, she could do the same, going into the hospice center and sharing her experience, providing signed copies for those who are currently in the hospice center. She could do like a remembrance ceremony, having a candlelight ceremony where they light a candle and they reflect on the loss of their loved ones, and Anne offers some encouragement. And then even a kind of a memorial book signing where she can partner with a funeral home or bereavement center for an event where she shares her journey. And it could even be done through video, through writing some newsletters for them. It doesn't have to be done in person, especially for places where the clientele kind of shifts, because obviously at a funeral home or even a hospice center, the clientele that is there, that their person that they're serving doesn't stay there forever, because once their person has passed away, they no longer go to the hospice center. So how could they continue to really offer support to the people that they were meeting the need of and that they were serving? Doing Q&As, doing panels, partnering with those mental health or community events, going into a library and offering a grief discussion, a book talk where you can advertise it, people can come in and meet the author of someone who's written on grief, and being able to maybe even teach people at a library setting or a bookstore setting how to journal through grief, and maybe she can give them some prompts. And that would bring them value as well. So their customers are getting value, as well as Anne is getting to speak into the lives of the people that are the audience for their book. So that Anne that I just stated really creates multiple touch points for launching her book, from churches to counseling centers to support groups, bookstores, by offering these compelling resources and structuring these events that you partner with them. You don't have to put it on yourself, can deeply impact those who need it most. So thinking through those particular steps, think about your book. Like, who is the audience that needs it most, and where do they exist in your community? Once you determine that, determining how you're going to get it into their hands through events or things that will benefit them both in person and virtually, also through the value and the resources you can give them, will be an easy way to just really start those conversations to discover the things that you can create and the places that you can serve your reader most. So that the ideas I have for you today. I did 3 other books actually, but we don't have time to go through them. So we will do that at our coaching as you come. And if you're coming to the coaching on Saturday, make sure you let me know, and I will make sure to go in and get your marketing copy package and just kind of walk through that, so I know who your audience is and what your book is about, if I don't know already, so that we can brainstorm that together on Saturday morning. Or Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific time in the Book Marketing Academy. So we'd love to see you there. And thanks so much this afternoon. If you're back on at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to do a industry update on Substack and how to leverage Substack to reach your audience. And we'll talk a little bit more about that then. So thanks for joining me. And I will see you all for sure this afternoon, and then again on Saturday during our live coaching session. See you then.